Before this hearing begins, understand what this case really is. Two teenage brothers, 15 and 16 years old, in foster care not because of abuse, drugs, or violence, but because of instability in housing.
252. All right, we're on record for our third regular review. It's also a permanency planning hearing in this matter. I know we're getting started a little later than anticipated, so thank you everyone for your patience, and let's go ahead and get started after appearances.
Carson Howard, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nastasia Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Young.
Galen Young, Department of Health and Human Services.
Michael Brooks, I'm the attorney for Mr. Rupel.
Toby Rupel. Mr. McFarland, representing Mother. Ms. Wachowski.
Mary Wachowski.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Howard, whenever you're ready.
I met virtually with the two children on January 10th, 2025. Both had reported that things have been going better in their placement during this reporting period. They are getting along and with their foster siblings and feeling more comfortable in that placement, and I think it's really reflected in their progress made in school. I think that placement offers a lot of stability and structure for them. They're still enjoying doing their supervised visits with their parents, whether it be going to a movie or going out to eat. And they both reported to me that they would like to stay in their current foster home until their parents are able to secure some more stable housing environments for both of them.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Ms. Thomas, any testimony this morning?
Thank you, Your Honor. If Ms. Young can please be sworn in.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, before Ms. Young starts, I just would like to double check what everyone received. I know when we get a lot of attachments, it's sort of hard to make sure everything transfers over to our files. The cover page indicates that there would be 5 parenting time reports. And I don't have uploaded in my end the first one, but I have 2 through 5. So I just wanted to know if everyone else has 1 through 5 for their files.
We have a January 6th letter, an initial assessment, weekly progress report from December 14th, 2024, a progress report from December 23rd, looks like this is another one for December 23rd. Yeah, I have 2 from December 23rd. Another one from January 4th.
Just to clarify, the one for the 23rd, there's different social work contacts in there noted from the orchard workers, so the dates are the same, different reports. So.
Yes, thank you. Is
Okay, that is what I have as well.
That's what I also have. My client verified she received everything done.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Young. I don't know if she was sworn in. I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she has.
Thank you. Looking at the dates. Okay. Ms. Young, we just went over some of the attachments for today's court report. Are there any other attachments that we missed discussing?
No, I was hoping to have the psychological for Ms. Wachowski, but I still have not gotten a response from Dr. Haugen's office. And I reached out to him directly and didn't get a response. So I've been trying to follow up, and unfortunately, I still do not have that.
Okay. All right. And are there any other updates or modifications that need to be made to your court report or the attachments?
Really, the only thing I can provide an update is on the boys. I know I spoke to placement a little bit about how they're doing. So in addition to the report, so with the younger child, CR, he's doing well. He's doing a lot better. There's still a lot of concerns with attention and focus in the school setting. So they're going to try to get him back into CMH to have a reassessment for possible ADHD and see if that's kind of the root cause of some of that attention concerns. He does have an IEP in school, but it doesn't address any of that. He's consistently taking multiple breaks, almost every single class period at school, to go to the bathroom, to get out of class, so he's not just sitting there. So that's one of the concerns and conclusions as to why we're thinking that there might be some ADHD symptoms. So if there is, we want to try to address that and see if that, if we can kind of work with the school on those issues as well as CMH and see, is there possible need for medication to kind of help with that? Or is there like some sort of therapy that could potentially help him, or things within the IEP that they can add in addition to what he's already receiving, so that way he can be in the classroom more.
Okay, thank you. And currently, what is the goal for the family, for the permanency goal?
The goal is still reunification, and then exploring alternative goals such as guardianship or adoption if need be, if reunification is not successful.
And during this review period, would you say that there's been progress towards the goal of reunification?
In the very beginning of the reporting period, no, there was not a lot of progress. There was a refusal to continue to do the supervised visits. We did get on the same page with that and started the Orchards program. So I provided those reports and the assessments, so that way the courts could see the progress that's being made in that area. There's still some growth needed as far as the parenting part of it that they're seeing through the assessment. But overall, the family is working on trying to get a stable environment. They did indicate that they found a place to stay. They're staying with a friend. Unfortunately, I was not able to go out and see the home yet. December was a very busy month with another case that required a lot of time on the road. So I'm hoping within this next week or so that I can go out to the home and see the residents and provide that report for the next reporting period.
Wonderful. And generally speaking, how would you describe each parent's level of compliance with and benefit from their case service plan?
I would say partial compliance. There's still some room for growth. We're working on trying to get through this parenting program with Orchards, doing the supervised visits, and trying to maintain some consistency. I do need income verification this reporting period, so just to kind of verify that this is what their income is, work with them on like a budget, so that way they can make sure that they're maintaining adequate income to support the needs of themselves as well as their children.
I know that you've mentioned the need for some stability around housing and ensuring that there's adequate income for the family. Are there any other barriers to reunification at this time?
At this time, it's just really understanding the parenting piece. That's been a concern in the past. We've started the parenting education classes as one-on-one as part of their supervised visitation. So, I'm satisfied with the progress that they're making in that at this time. They still have, I believe, about 12 more weeks to go, I believe. I'd have to double check and verify, but, they have a little bit of time left in that program, and we can kind of gauge that progress throughout this next reporting period on that.
In your court report, and I'm not sure if it might just be left over from the last review period, but there's I think there's a note in there about maybe some concerns about follow through or follow up with the consequences that are put in place from the foster home, and the parents sort of respecting that. Can you elaborate more on that, if there's been any progress in that area?
As far as I know, there has been some progress in that. Like I said, for the first part of the reporting period, there was a refusal to do any supervised parenting time. And when we got Orchards on board, and it finally, started that service, we were able to see a little bit of progress in that area. They're in that supervised setting with a consistency every week, with an exception of the holidays. I know there was a barrier with that because they have it on a consistent day. So they're working on trying to get that time made up and whatnot. So hopefully they can get some progress, continued progress in that area.
And during this review period, it seems that both of the boys have done better in school.
They have, yes.
Okay. There have not been any further behavioral incidents that require police involvement or anything like that?
Not that required police involvement. I know placement gets weekly phone calls in regards to CR. And a lot of it, again, is to that attention and focus in the classroom setting and just not following the rules in the class, so just having his phone and being on that instead of focusing on the schoolwork. There was one incident that was brought to my attention that it was a sunny day and he was trying to take the phone and angle it just right to angle the light to hit another youth that has an emotional impairment. And the other youth disrupted the whole class and destroyed the classroom setting because of that. So there is some behavioral things in the classroom, but he's pretty easily redirected if he's kept busy. That's where he's usually taking frequent breaks. He gets a pass out of every single classroom, from my understanding, to go to the bathroom. So he has access to like a resource room too, to kind of take a break from the classroom setting as well. So he's got some supports in place. But I'm still concerned about the attention focus piece of it, where he needs to have that further addressed. He refused to do CMH services despite the intake previously. So we're going to try to have him reassessed and see if, even if it's like the psychiatric route, to try to see if there is a need to address that further, if he gets a formal diagnosis of that.
Is there anything else that you'd like to report for the court today?
At this time, I think everything is pretty well covered in the report.
Thank you. With that, I have no further questions of Ms. Young, and would move to admit the court report with the attachments.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Questions for this witness, Mr. McFarland?
When was it that the parents informed you that they had another house for you to inspect?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
This moment right here is unusually blunt for juvenile court. The attorney openly says the parents don't have the typical red flags. No drugs, no violence, no mental health issues, just poverty. That raises a hard question. Should lack of housing alone keep a family separated? Or is the system running out of realistic options?
And you said you wanted to make sure they have adequate income. What is that threshold you're looking at?
It's not necessarily like a threshold, but I want to make sure and verify their income and make sure that they're following like a budget, to make sure that they have all of their bills and needs met from like a proper budget, showing that they're able to support themselves and their children. I mean, for every family that may look differently, so I can't just give a monetary amount of what their budget needs to look like. They know what their bills are, but if they can work with either the orchards worker, or we can put, I know previously we talked about putting L&L services in place to help with that budgeting piece, and working with them weekly, just kind of on some of those organizational things such as that.
Is it your understanding the parents don't want to pull the kids from school right now? Like to see them complete the school year up there?
Yes.
So really in another 90 days, goal is still going to be for the kids to remain where they are to complete their school services, correct?
Correct.
So you're not holding that against the parents, that they're, let me strike that. What's your opinion of the parents not wanting to remove the kids from their school where they're at? That be held against them as far as reunification efforts?
No, I think honestly, I think it's in the kids' best interest to remain where they're at so they can maintain that stability in that school structure. And it'll give the parents an opportunity to finish the parenting education program this next reporting period and move towards that unsupervised time again, and see how that structure goes.
I haven't heard anything negative about these supervised parenting times, correct?
Correct.
Why can't they transition right now into unsupervised?
We want to see them work through this program, and that would require them to be in that supervised setting.
How long is this program?
I believe they have about 12 more weeks left in it.
What specifically is that program?
It's the Orchards Visitation Support Program, and it's a parenting education as well as supervised visitation. They have a worker that supervises the visits and then provides that parenting education piece with it in conjunction with that. And it's very hands-on. They go over the curriculum with them. They go over things that go well, things that can be worked on, and they try to work together to kind of address those barriers or concerns that they may have or things that are going very well. So they address all of that with this program.
One moment. My understanding is that it's a parent's position that they would choose for the child C not to medicate the child. Are you aware of that preference of the parents?
We have discussed that in the past, yes, but we just want to make sure if there are some concerns with possible ADHD that we're addressing those, whether it's with medication or with specific therapy services, so that way he has supports in place to help eliminate those barriers.
So
Especially in the school setting.
So you wouldn't be medicating without a court order if the parents did not agree with medication. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. The parents have to consent to that, or the court would need to consent.
If this child wishes to have parents accompany him on medical or CMH interviews, that's available, correct?
Yes.
My understanding, you're not going to be on this case too long, correct?
I don't know for sure the status of that. I don't have an end date to my time with the department.
Okay. Nothing further.
Questions, Mr. Brooks?
How old are these boys?
16 and 15.
Are they full brothers?
To my understanding, yes.
All right. And where do they live? What county?
They're currently in Macomb County.
Does that present barriers to this couple?
We have discussed some of that as far as the transportation and distance. We do provide gas cards for that transportation to help eliminate some of that barrier. We do understand, yes, it is quite a distance, but we don't staff on the weekends to be able to do visits. In this program, they set a date based on mom's work schedule and the boys' schedule. So that way, they're able to have a consistent date every week of when these visits would take place.
What is, in your opinion, my client's housing status?
It's to my understanding, they're both in a house where they're living with a friend. I haven't seen the residence, but it's my understanding they've been living there for at least the last month, if not a little bit longer. I don't know the exact date they moved there.
That housing situation is a major barrier, isn't it, at this point?
It was one of the bigger barriers in the beginning of this case, and it's been an ongoing thing that we've been working on throughout the entirety of this case. So yes.
That's all.
Questions, Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. Return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, just ask if the parents would like to testify. I can call them at this time.
My client would not wish to testify.
Mr. Rubel? They do not, my client does not wish to testify.
Right, Your Honor. And then I have no further questions for any witness. Thank you.
All right, witness testimony today, Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Mr. Brooks? Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Very good. Closing comments, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. During this review period, we've seen some progress, mostly as it relates to the parenting skills. And I think that was one of the main concerns that caused the children to come into care. And so I would like to acknowledge the parents for making that progress. I know that it is early on, so we would like to see that be sustainable for them. The department is obviously working to ensure that the parents are getting those visits. We understand the distance. And it seems that providing with gas cards is one way that the department is supporting that. Given the continued need for the stable home environment, verification on income to ensure all financial needs can be met, and then the progress towards parenting, we would request that the court continue the goal towards reunification, and if not, also maybe consider a dual goal with a secondary goal being APLA, given the children's age. Otherwise, we're just requesting a standard 90-day review for this case to be reviewed by the court again. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. McFarland?
Well, I'll see a 15 and a 16-year-old having independent living. So the parents with, it appears to be the approval of the agency, would like them to complete their scholastic year where they're at. I think that's very honorable of them. They may very well have suitable housing. They know that they need to present their income. They may now have suitable income. But even if everything is fine, they still wish for the children to complete their education up there rather than pull them out and disrupt them. So I see at least a couple more reviews here on this, Your Honor, since the next review, children are still going to be in school, and the goal is for them to complete schooling up there.
Mr. Brooks?
I seldom feel like I'm running into a stone wall in terms of other alternatives, but this one, I just don't see one. I mean, these people have none of the usual problems that we deal with here. No drugs, no mental illness, no domestic violence, no developmental disabilities, no poor health issues. There's none of it. They're just don't have a house. They're poor. And I don't know what the heck we're supposed to do with that other than what's happened. And the boys don't want to leave anyway. So absent that, I don't know what to tell you. I guess they're going to stay there at least till the end of the school year. And it's a hope more than anything else that these folks find a home of their own and a way to maintain that home so that these boys can come home. Thank you.
Mr. Howard, any comments?
Yes, Your Honor, I would say that I would like, to continue to see the parents and boys make progress in school and parents on their housing, and would like to see the boys get back down to Adrian if possible. I know that, that could be a barrier with some of the distance and transportation, but they did express some wishes to see some friends back in Adrian that they haven't seen in a while, so maybe working collaboratively with the placement and the agency to potentially get them back down to Adrian.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. Last time we were here, there were some significant issues raised around parenting and interactions wherein the biological parents had been perhaps unfortunately encouraging the children to make some bad decisions or to contest the decisions made by the foster family. And I'm glad to hear that that did not continue into this report period and that the parents are engaging in the services. That's what needs to happen. Look forward to Ms. Young verifying income as well as housing in the next report period to make progress on those important areas, which were major barriers to the outset of the case. The other additional major barrier was, of course, Ms. Mary Wilkowski's unemployment, and both parents need to work on the parenting techniques that they were using with their children in order to encourage them to make better decisions. We'll put it that way. So those are the barriers. They continue to be the barriers towards reunification. They are long-standing barriers. I'll just remind our attorneys again that this is a 2009 case. This is not the first time we've been here for these issues. They are very deeply rooted. So I don't have a problem understanding at all that it's going to be probably another 6 months to see if this family is able to get and stay on their feet and provide a stable environment for these two boys who very much need that. They're doing well in their placement because of that. Grades are improving, their decisions are improving, their supports are there, and they're also able to see their parents now, which is good. in the context of the Orchards Family Services program. I'm glad to hear you got on board with that. At our last at our last hearing, the goal was changed to a dual goal of reunification and APLA because there are no relative placements available, and frankly, that was the children's preference. There was a request in the court report to also consider the option of guardianship, and I think that those are good things to consider in the next few months. Continuing to monitor whether or not the parents are able to get on their feet, and also the fact that these parents are clearly well bonded with their sons, and that's been reflected in the comments made in the observations of the Orchards Family Services providers. There was a proposed review hearing date for March, but that's only 2 months. I would offer to you rather April 14th at 10 a.m. For a full 90-day report period. Again, that would be April 14th at 10 a.m.
I'm available, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Very good, yes.
That'll work.
That'll work.
All right, so that will be our fourth regular review and will continue to be a permanency planning hearing. I'm going to leave the goal for today at reunification and APLA because with the ages of the boys at 15 and 16, they do need to start developing some of those independent living skills, budgeting skills. They're getting jobs and making progress. They're engaged in or going to be engaged in driver's training, and they are at an age where they're starting to learn how to become adults, and they need those skill sets. So it's absolutely appropriate at this point to leave that dual goal in place, understanding that and hoping, frankly, that the parents continue to make progress. In the meantime, they're in the safest and least restrictive environment. The preference has been established as well for them in that stable environment for the moment, and I've already articulated the risks associated with returning the children. So for all those reasons, the children will stay in their placement pending our next review, which is again, April 14th at 10 a.m. I'll have the order ready in a few minutes if you'd like to wait, unless there's any other questions.
Yeah.
And that's the ruling. The boys stay where they are, not as punishment, but because stability matters more than speed. Reunification is still the goal, but only if the parents can prove consistency over time. This case shows the quiet truth of juvenile court. Love isn't always the issue. Stability is.